मैं लोड चेक कर लूँ सिस्टम. ठीक है.
Are you already on air?
Not yet.
This shows.
चेची इंट्रो कौन देगा?
You only give. We both will give.
रेडी चेची?
Yes.
5, 4, 3 मतलब 1 जब बोलूँ तो गो लाइव. ओके 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we
Hello, are we live?
We should be live right now. So we are here, guys, today to talk about a very small film from Malayalam cinema.
Which is little, very small, very like
peanuts.
Peanuts. Not very important.
Only 200 crores today. Only.
Yes. Only
nothing.
It has only
it's
crossed to 200 crores. So not a big deal.
From the biggest film industry, like, you know, it's nothing for them. Every Friday.
Anyway, welcome guys to this live, and I think we have lots to talk about. I think when the movie released, in my head we were like, okay, and I was speaking to Farhad actually, Nona, that okay, we'll do a live on Monday. And since the release, within a short span of time, so many things have happened surrounding this film. So now
That's
we
true.
have many things to talk about, just rather than just the spoilers.
Oh, you're talking about the subtitles, right? The big controversy around the subtitles. Yeah. Anyways, so we are talking about EMPURAAN, L2 EMPURAAN.
Yes.
And first we start with the overview, how we are going about it.
How we felt about the film overall. I think that's the place to start with. I haven't so Farhad posted like a 22-minute
Oh my god.
Full review.
I had lots to talk about.
Yes, so imagine how much Farhad has to say today.
And more, you know, there's so much that happened after that.
Exactly. Corona, will start with you, like your thoughts just overall.
So
yeah, go for it.
Acha, I saw Chechi's review. I didn't see Farhad's review. And Chechi, I think you went into a bit of spoilers, if I'm not wrong. Like you kind of talked about Tovino and guys, spoiler alert. I didn't put spoiler alert tag.
You did. Your thumbnail is.
Oh yeah, thumbnail, but on the stream I didn't put it. So now it's there. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie. So yeah, I didn't actually dive into any spoilers because of one incident that happened with me.
Okay.
So yeah. So I actually tried to not even say anything. So I actually will go through my review through the stream. So I'll remember, oh, this is the point I want to talk more about. But overall, yeah, it's you know, see, the point is some like how people are calling it, oh, it's a bad film, so bad. I'm like, is this Indian too? Is this, you know, what was this year's film?
Game Changer.
That is considered a bad film where the scale has gone totally off. Like the scale of Indian 2 is heinous to look at. It is so, you know, overdone and over, you know, produced that you cannot even want to look at it, you know. So like, is that you're calling bad? No, it's not that. It's just that there's so many elements. And because there are so many elements, there's not enough time which can be dedicated to each thing. And that's why a lot of issues occur, because everything feels very rushed. And none of the story arcs leave you satisfied because none of them are explored at a, you know, length which it should have been. But overall, the attempt to believe that they can, you know, make something, and so many places, the choices of not doing the typical stuff, you know, they're trying to still, you know, trying to do something bigger. Trying to do something greater than what has ever been done, you know. So you can just do some, you know, you can take 2 steps ahead and say, oh, I've become the farthest. But that's not this film does. They are still going ahead. They are not
Right.
stopping and saying, oh, we accomplished something. So I think
Yeah.
for that, kudos to them. But overall thoughts, it's a mixed bag.
Yeah, I think for me also mixed bag, but more on the positive side only, because I think people are just reacting like that. That, oh my god, it's like the worst film ever because of these monumental expectations that people were carrying, because the wait was also too long for all of them. It's been 6 years, and I think within those 6 years, like Lucifer has also aged really well as a film. So like the more you watch it, the more you appreciate it. So that has mounted, and then this film also was marketed as this huge pan India release. So I think it has to do the disappointment, I feel, has a lot to do with the marketing and the expectations, because when you compare the film with that, obviously there is going to be some sort of shortfall. But like, I had some issues with the narrative screenplay, but as a film overall, I think it's a pretty great film. And that's why the first thing I wrote in my stories when I walked out of the theater, that I want to congratulate Prithvi Raj because he has pulled off something really, really massive. So that was like my first thought which came. So yeah, Farad?
So I actually did like the film. I mean, it's not a knockout as all of us, I think, are agreeing that it's not a knockout film that we would associate from a Malayalam film industry generally. Generally, there is a knockout factor that is there. It's like an absolute, like the film has killed it. This film didn't kill it, but it still was pretty good. I mean, there are 2-3 things that, is contributing to the negative side of things. Firstly, the controversy that we'll get to in a bit.
Yeah.
Second thing is the sky high expectations, as you also said, about a Mohanlal film, which everyone was touting as his comeback.
Yeah.
Mohanlal hasn't been in great form lately. I think Nera worked, but other than that, nothing has really worked after Lucifer, if you see. The third thing is that I really feel that, the mass elements that are there is more with respect to the Telugu film industry, not so much the Malayalam film industry. This is a different kind of a film, even for the audience, if you see,
Yeah.
which is known for a slightly more intellectual kind of a narrative, which is there. This was a plain mass film. If you look at it from a mass perspective, this is a wonderful film. I didn't have a complaint, even if there were 3-4 slow-mos that were there. Especially when I actually watched Sikandar yesterday, there was a perfect comparison that you could see, that what mass is and what mass is shown here. There's
I'm going
a
tomorrow
considerable difference.
for Sikandar.
Okay. God bless
Oh,
you.
no, sorry. I am not. After that trailer, I am happy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, from the mass perspective, if I have to, that's what I'd even written in my review, that if I have to look at it from a mass perspective, the film does work. Except, I think the climax, because, this is a political landscape kind of a film. I did feel that it did get into a convenient area in the final act. It could have been a little more layered, they could have been a little more, narrative in terms of the shifting character dynamics which were there. It was pretty straightforward in that sense. And the one complaint that many people are also having is that the character arcs are, flat in this case. I cannot buy that argument because the world is the same. If I have to look at the world, I would say I will take Lucifer also into consideration. And I will take EMPURAAN also in consideration. It's like a 3-act structure, which is there. And this is the second act of the universe. It's a trilogy. So when the character arc is going up in the first film, this will flatten it out to an extent. It's not completely flat. It will be slightly wavy, but it will still be on the plateauing side of things.
Yeah.
So I can't buy that argument saying that, the character arcs are, flat in this case. I think that's a pretty needless kind of a argument when you are considering, if you look at it like a solo film, it will seem flat because I don't know whether you haven't seen Lucifer or whether, you are just viewing this as a solo film. If you look at it like a proper thing, from Lucifer, it's a definite character arc which is there. And in that case, my review was positive, and I don't know whether I'm in the minority or not. Speaking of minorities, but
What a segue.
speaking of minorities, but yeah, I don't know whether my thoughts are in the minority or not.
Yeah.
But I like this
No,
film
I
at the
think
end.
I think no, the thoughts are not in the minority. I think it's right now it's a mixed bag. I feel that most of the sentiment for the film is like positive in terms of film, except if you just take into account the controversy, then yes, a section is like completely like this in a bashing mode and completely hating on the film. And like, do we want to discuss the controversy initially first, or do we
What
just first
controversy? I
discuss
don't know
the
what you're
film?
talking about, Chechi.
No, nah. Yeah, right. Of
Guys,
course, of course.
before we get more into it, hit that like button so more people can join us.
Yes.
And before controversy, see, one thing I talked about in my review is that this film suffers from the same thing what Game of Thrones season 8 suffered from, where they kind of rushed, things. And
Yeah.
because you are so used to them taking so much time to develop everything, suddenly so rushed felt like, this doesn't make sense. It's kind of breaking the world for you.
Yeah.
I think this film
I
also,
wanna- yeah.
apart
No, say.
from Manju Warrior's character, where you see, okay, that's a change. But again, that change is like she's on a stage at the start of the film. She's unable to give a good, commanding speech. Then things happen. Then she's, asked to go on stage again. And she goes there, and then suddenly she's unable to do it, trying to recreate the Tobino moment from first film. And then
Yeah.
again, like this, she's like, I can command it now. And then she suffers something, and then she, like Lucifer tells her what to do, and she does that, and now she's changed. Wow, what an arc. But if you look at it, if you cut out her sequences from both the films, like 6 hour long film, it's barely 20-25 minutes of character arc, So that's not enough to justify it. It's the same for Tovino. Tovino even didn't get that.
Yeah.
It's like
Same.
first movie he's good guy. He's like, I know EMPURAAN, I know Lucifer, or I know Stephen. And he's like, yes. And second movie is like, no, not Stephen. I want more control.
I address this. I
So-
address this in my review as well. Is that I don't know what was the trigger point. Like, I would have loved to know. Okay, why is such a change, man? Because there should be something. Because Tovino is a very, very important character.
We have a spin-off film coming out. Just talking about Tovino between the movies.
Sorry.
Tovino is
already
done for.
mentioned, right? In that he's got the absolute power, the 2 lines that were there at the start of a film.
No, but you see, you cannot
That I think-
justify a character arc just by 2 lines at the start of the film.
We don't know what happened in those 5 years. Like, something would have triggered that mindset change, right? Like, okay, absolute power. Okay, if absolute power corrupted him, absolutely. Then how exactly?
Show us.
Like, I would have wanted, like, because he's not just some passing character, but Tovino is such an important piece of the puzzle. So I would have loved to know, because that's one thing I address in the film, because I feel that Manju did get a lot of shining moments. Overall, I actually liked her character arc. Like, I did not mind. But when it came to specifically Tovino and Balraj, which is played by Abhimanyu Singh. Like, okay, how did he enter politics? Like, what happened there? How does he even come about in that whole castle thing where he kills everybody? So, like, what is his origin? I don't know. And him and Mohanlal, like, I found him a weak villain because he's not directly connected to the main protagonist, which is, Abraham Qureshi. He is more of a antagonist for Zaid's character. Like, it's a revenge between these two characters, and Mohanlal's character is helping him out. So I feel that there would have been a mismatch. Like, there are like 3 subplots going parallel, which I feel Prithviraj has tried to merge them all together very well. That's why, because I was scared that, okay, how is he going to bring about so many characters together? So that way, it was fine, like, in terms of storytelling. But yes, when it comes to that satisfaction of the climax and the character arcs, somewhere there was a mismatch, I felt.
I feel like the film, has this issue where it's relying on the audience's presumptions and audience's understanding of what these things can do. Like, like, so all the things happening in the film, oh, power corrupts. So he's a CM for 5 years. He wants power, and we understand real world how it works. So that's what has made him evil, or what you call him, selfish. You know. So
Selfish,
the filmmaker is relying on the audience assumption that they will understand because it happens in real life. Same goes with. Or I don't know if what they have changed his name to, or will also mute his name.
They have changed Balraj's name in the film. Yes.
So even that, like, it's like very. The whole idea is that, okay, that happened, but now you should understand when he walks in Kerala as a, with a CM, you understand what it's trying to do and the harm it will cause Kerala, because in real life. But the film is not doing any work to depict what that really means. It's relying totally on your understanding of what happens in real life. So that should tell you why it's a threat, that why he needs to be stopped. So the film is not doing anything. The film is not giving you what it can do, him have coming to Kerala, how is it changing Kerala, what is going wrong. It's okay, the dam is there, that thing is, again, the dam thing is something real in Kerala. So like, you're bringing all these real references, but you're not building a narrative around it. You are letting us assume what it is, and we know what has happened, so we should understand, oh, he's the villain because in real life he's a villain, not because what the film is trying to show us. I think that is something the film struggles with.
What are your thoughts on that, Farhad?
I kind of agree. I mean, if I have to look at it from a political landscape, I didn't find much politics in it. I think after a point it became a straightforward revenge drama at an individual level, which was my issue with the final act, as I said. My final act, they could have, in my review also I had mentioned that you could have built a narrative around the dam which is there, which was in passing references at, I think, at least 2 points before that final act. I agree. I mean, the politics could have been depicted a little more, but I think the approach was, to present it like a mass film. It was not, a political film. So, I mean, that's where my gaze of watching the film was, that I went in for a mass film. I didn't necessarily go in from a political film, because, political thrillers at this point, you will more often than not be disappointed given the genre and given the surroundings that are there. You can't go all out with it. And the fact that it did go with a certain section in the film, that first initial 1 hour which was there, I think for me it was commendable, that, you are pushing that. But it didn't follow up with that, it then took it to that individual revenge drama kind of a thing. It just, and also the balance, there were 2 different tones which were there. One with the political landscape as far as the Kerala setting is concerned, the other with the cartel. Now, these are 2 different tonalities in the drama. What I felt was that the focus after a point shifted to that of the cartel, and just after that, everything got streamlined in the Kerala setup. So I think that again was a fault from the screenplay perspective, but at the same time, it didn't hamper my viewing. Let's put it this way. It didn't hamper my viewing because my gaze from the beginning was always a mass entertainer. If I had to, if I have to give a example of it, and it's a bad example for people from Kerala, but if I have to give the example of Pushpa 2 with any other gaze, if you have to look at it from a other than a mass masala entertainer, you will be disappointed. There is no story to it. But if you look at it from a mass masala entertainer, at least you will find it entertaining. That is the same case with EMPURAAN as well. If you look for a story, I mean, it's not that there is no story here. It's better product than...
No, there's definitely a story.
It's definitely a story. It's just that the nuances, the detailing, it's just broad stroke. Everything is broad stroke. Let's put it that way. So, and I'm not comparing Pushpa 2 to EMPURAAN, please. That is not the intention, but just an example of a gaze that I was trying to give an example of. That what gaze that I was looking at. I was looking at it from a massy gaze. So I didn't mind the slow-mos that were there. I didn't mind the parallel tracks. The issues that I had was with the final act. Final act, I think, was very simplistic, and that's where I think even the mass dipped for me. So that's the little fall that I had with the film.
For mass, right, I always say this: mass is not, your hero walking in slow motion. Mass is your character doing something which is giving you high, and that, you know, the slow-mo, whatever slow-mo you're showing makes it so much better. You know, like if you look at a triple R, right? Like I'm taking the best of the examples, but whenever there's a slow motion or introduction scene, like the high is coming from what is happening on screen, the action. The action the hero is committing when he coming in with that truck with a lot of animals, that is giving you high, not Junior NTR. You know, so in this film, the high work the best for me was the jungle fight scene.
Oh yes.
You know, because it has a personal thing that, oh, he has shown up himself to, you know, save her, and now, you know, and the way he there's an anger in that, you know, that you really think you could take her, like how dare you even touch, like, you know, there's this action, there's this, you know, coming back at it with strong hand. Like I can see the anger, he's angry first time, he's angry, so angry at, you know, beating those people, so it works. But other than that, the first shot of him as Lucifer, when we see they are stopping, like first to establish, you know, these character Interpol and this, and, you know, all these agencies, and then the girl, you know, and her first scene is that she just comes to this, you know, with the catwalk almost to the where they're standing to stop them. And then if you're introducing a character, introduce in a way that, you know, that tells you what this character is, but it doesn't tell you anything about her. And then the first thing we see her do is that fail at her job, that they, you know, they took this other way route, and, you know, Lucifer reached there and he killed all of them, and then the guy he's thinking he's gonna kill, and then he kills the other guy, which we saw in first movie. What is, like, what's this, what I'm getting into, why is this happening? You know, it's just, again, as you said, broad stroke. Oh, there's one of the conflicts that's happening, you know, in the underworld and all, but it doesn't, like what is the setup, what is going on? Okay, so they are doing drugs, he's against drugs, but everything else is okay. But then, like, you know, so there's so many, like,
so
I'm just, it's like, you know, you're left in this world, but what's happening in the world not making sense to you, even if you are there.
So I have a little different take. Like when we get introduced to Abraham Qureshi, like I feel that, you know, a lot of people might think that it would be like an underwhelming introduction to his character. I kind of did not feel that, though. Yes, when you talk about the jungle fight, that is pure mass. You know, when he picks up the mundu and all, you know, because we have that memory from Lucifer as well, right? Because then everybody was screaming and shouting. But I feel that when he gets introduced after, say, or I think roughly 1 hour into the film, I felt that, okay, he did not need like the introduction, because as you said, Farah, that you were looking at it in with Lucifer plus EMPURAAN, that there is an arc. We are already following a character's journey. So this is like the mid piece. So I do not need an introduction to Qureshi Abraham. I honestly do not need it. So for me, that was good enough. Like I did not mind him walking in slow-mo and then...
But we never got a introduction, no? At the end, we just saw, oh, he's Lucifer. What? Oh my God. And this film showed us, oh my God, he's Lucifer. And then he got killed.
No, it sets up in the third one. So, you know, when the character in the end, he says, nah, I want to know everything about him. And this and that. So we are actually going to get that. So the arc is going that way.
You know,
so
I wonder,
know that we're going to get it.
I wonder if they didn't do Lucifer's backstory first in this one, because they thought people will compare it to Godfather 2. Because there were a lot of people saying that, you know, this film is following Godfather trilogy, because in Godfather also we get the, you know, backstory as well as the what's going on in the present. So maybe that's the reason they didn't do that. But I would have actually, preferred that over Masood's, you know, again, with his character, right? Like his revenge on this guy, they don't meet until that point. Before that, Prithviraj literally has just two scenes, you know, barely with 2 dialogues. Like, how can I really feel it? And even that fight sequence, they don't even exchange dialogues that what had happened that time. Like, that guy dies without knowing why he's getting killed.
Yeah, because he asked, "Kaun hai Malabari?" He asked like that.
And like,
so
like
he doesn't know.
He's clueless what's going on.
Which is why he's a weak villain. I also say this in my review. Like, he is a weak villain. Like, you don't feel anything that when he gets killed. Like when Bobby got killed in Lucifer, I was like, okay, finally he's dead. Great.
Yeah.
He deserved it. You know, because he boiled my blood at one point, and Vivek Oberoi was so good at. So you establish like him as a villain, and he had more meat and more nuance as a villain. So this was like Balraj, or whatever his name is going to be now, after the revised cut, is very one-dimensional. He's like a villain, like a very stereotypical villain.
There's a chat in Shikesh says just like the villain from KGF Chapter 1. Very big difference. There, the hero has nothing to do with him, but he is a stepping stone in front of him to take him down and take over KGF. So that there it's okay, and some people say he didn't die, he'll be in hell thinking who killed me. Like so many people have tried to kill him. He would know, someone would have sent someone to kill him, right? It's not that he was like, oh shit, why would someone want to kill me? Why did I die? He's thinking in hell. Why did I die? I didn't do anything wrong in life. So it's not like that. There's no connection. It doesn't matter if he knows or not. Here it mattered because you build the whole thing that's a revenge.
Yeah. Correct.
There's one more thing in the chat going on about Stephen, and if he's Lucifer, then why he's there, fighting and doing all the stuff. Like, but I guess that's like the mask thing. You want the hero to do all the stuff, right? You don't want him to sit and hiding and,
that one leg kick when they both do it,
Yeah.
Prithviraj and Mohanlal, because it's a callback from the first one. So what I noticed is that the callbacks which are from the first film, people are actually like cheering on that particularly. Like this movie doesn't have an independent mass moment like that. So whenever there's a callback from the first film, like with the Mundu and the one leg kick, I think those generated a lot of whistles in my theater, at least.
Yeah. I also got to see it in a good like capacity theater. So there were a lot of people. So yeah, it was fun.
Same.
But there were definitely moments where there was slow motion and zooms and and there was utter silence. And I'm like, oh, this didn't work out.
This is not working out. But I feel that they could have gotten away. Like they could have just got done with the slow-mo. Like first shot when Abraham Qureshi comes in, that is slow-mo is fine. I think after that when he is going to meet Kabuka, you don't need a slow-mo, just go inside because you have already planned to kill him and his whole gang and all of that. So you don't need that whole slow-mo of him going. What did you think of his outfit, Abraham Qureshi? All black. How do you feel about the costume?
Touch, I would say.
Definitely, it was
more like. Do you think it's more mafia? I feel this is just from a costume perspective. Like a long coat would have worked better, I feel.
That's a tonal shift, I think, from the first film to the second film as well. So first you had seen him in all white attire, that was more, political, more layered. This was more stylized. So more in that sense, the transition was definitely there as far as the costumes were concerned for Lucifer, for the character of Lucifer. Even for the others, you could see the character Manju Warrior, donning a tricolor sari and all of that. That shift was definitely there from the first film. And I think that went with the mood of the film, depending on how you view it, whether you view it, as all, I think we all agree that it was broad stroked.
Yeah. So do you think because it's a Malayalam movie, that is why there is this whole thing of style over substance? Because we expect a lot of substance from even a mass film, right?
Yes. If this was a Telugu film, this would have been lapped up, I'm pretty sure. This would have been lapped up to another level, saying, oh, this is the greatest film of the century and all of that. Because it is a Malayalam film, the expectations are high in terms of the substance and not the style. And that is I think the bargain, because they were attempting a pan-India film also. I think they wanted to ensure, unfortunately, that ironically did not work out. The film is wrapping under 2 crores in the North India circuit, which is everything outside Kerala, Telugu, Andhra Pradesh and the southern side of India. Outside that, the Hindi version is only under 2 crores. So it's definitely not, the penetration is not there, basically, is what it is.
See, I feel that with the context of the film and everything, there are a lot of like things which are culturally so Kerala thing, but it will not connect overall. But the other thing is that, see, Telugu filmmakers have grown up watching mass. So their understanding and grasp over mass is way better than someone Prithviraj who has not grown up in that sense. He has grown up with different type of storytelling. So them trying to do that complex storytelling with that big scale action and everything together, it will not, it doesn't fit together well. But it's an attempt, it's a trial and error, and I'm sure the
Yeah.
next film, someone else looking at this films will be inspired in Malayalam, will try to do something more where the complexity and the scale and mass, everything will come together so well that it will just crack it. But it's
Correct,
okay,
because
it's
I
a
don't feel
attempt.
that. Because I feel that okay, even if a film is stylized, I mean, okay, what's wrong in that? I mean, that shouldn't be like such a bad thing to look at. Oh, this is all style, 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 style. Because then even Marco was a very stylized film, right? When it comes
Are we
to
going
an
there?
action, violent action film, Marco was also very much stylized. So if this is also presented in a stylized way, and it's such a big world, you have to establish in this world that Qureshi is like this big deal, and they have gone to like multiple locations. So I feel presentation wise, I don't think people should be complaining, but I think the presentation was fantastic.
Yeah, I
Like how
think
they
that
have,
is undisputed, something undisputed.
yeah,
The
correct.
the making, like the looks, like the whole, like I have not seen that whole sequence in Iraq, wherever they are. That
Yeah.
looks like a Counter-Strike map. Like, I don't know if you have played Counter-Strike, but I'm like, oh my
I've not
god, this
played, I've
looks
seen.
epic.
Yeah.
Like I've
Yeah.
seen COD and all, you play those maps, you go these certain places, and the way they've captured it all, it just, it's like I've not been transported like that from my Indian film. So I love that
Yeah.
fact that it did that.
Right. Okay. So thoughts on 3, the way they end the film?
See, I would, why it doesn't land right? Like you say, oh,
It
first
didn't land
time.
for you. Oh, I
Yeah,
think it landed for
because
me. So interesting.
No,
Okay.
because they say first time he's going out of, see, the whole point of what's his name, Prithviraj's brother name, Indrajit Sukumaran
Indrajit.
character, like that's a big
Govardhan.
storytelling screenplay error, that you show us that he goes to him, meets him, and he tells him that there is a plan, and then you cut to, we get to a scene where they have died. Lucifer has died. Of course we know he has not died. There's no, I'm not buying this at
There's
all.
a surprise element,
You know,
obviously.
it doesn't work at all. It's flawed. That whole angle is flawed. It doesn't work at all. And even I thought now they will do something surprising, but they also didn't either. That he's still like in control, where he kind of wraps up the story of this film. At least this film, the villain is dead, things are good. Tovino has to, she has come out of jail. She'll now take over. Like everything is ready. He has done the job. He's kind of completed everything under his control. And now the Chinese triad comes, and Tovino's dead and all of that. But I'm like saying, what if you show that she didn't come out? They think by the end you plan everything, that everything is going to the plan, Lucifer's plan, and suddenly everything goes wrong. She was supposed to come out, she didn't come out. Something went wrong. Tovino died. Everything is in ruins. Now what's gonna happen now?
Tovino dies is the thing which goes wrong.
Yeah, that's the only one thing, right? Like everything
Yeah.
is wrapped. When everything is wrapped, that's the one thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
you end with saying now, because you messed up with the Chinese triad, see what they have done. This is what they can do, and now that's a big challenge for him. You
Yeah.
solved everything. He's still able to like do everything according to his plan. That's just too, again, same thing in the first film. Like, okay, now you just repeated the same thing. So this is not fun anymore. I could guess it the first time. The moment it, I knew by the end he'll control everything.
Yeah, but I think when he dies, it's not for us. Like the surprise element, it's to push the story. Like in that world, they want to believe that okay, he's dead. So that's the narrative that they are pushing. We know as audience that he's not dead. There's no way he's dead. We know that it was like a
It was
smoke
designed,
screen.
yeah.
Yeah, we know. I think that is the intent. The Prithviraj didn't want us to feel that, oh my God, we are shook that he's dead. That shouldn't have happened. I think he knew that, okay, let the audience know he's not dead. But in the world of Qureshi Abraham or Lucifer, he's dead. That's the surprise element we'll give them. It's I don't know how you feel about that kind of storytelling, but I feel when the third film setup happened, I said finally we are going to see a sort of his downfall, because then the paper clippings come and we see that the triad actually, like, Shen is totally like butchering KA Nexus. He's like a big deal. So we have finally a very, very formidable villain, which hopefully is going to be like, this is going to be like a neck to neck fight, is what I thought. And that made me happy. So I was happy with how it ended. Like, it set up the third film, and we also get to see his entire. Finally, we'll see what is Qureshi Abrams' rise to this whole world. How did that nexus happen? So I was pretty okay with that. Farhad, what about you?
I mean, it didn't leave me with a very big high as such, but yeah, it was a sort of an anticipation on what is the origin story of Qureshi Abram. Or Lucifer, how his journey to become Lucifer, rather, and I think the story starts in somewhere in Bombay, so it's again going to be more on the lines of a gangster drama, say something like a Nayakan or something. It seems like that it's going for that, unless there's a surprise that is pulled off. But that will be on the cartel side of things. I'm more also interested in knowing how the death of the character, spoilers, of Tovino Thomas changes the landscape of Kerala. I think that will be an interesting plot point as to how they're going to take the story forward in terms of the politics of the state. Origin story is one thing. I think you can only do so much with the origin stories, so much with the cartel work that is there, with the triad and everything. Even in the last film, as you mentioned in Lucifer, there was a mention of Kubaga and his triad, his cartel that was there. It didn't pose as a very big threat in this film.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of I think they're going for a similar kind of a conclusion as far as the Chinese triad is also concerned. I don't see it being a formidable opponent for Lucifer, to overpower the story of the state as well. Cartel will be one angle of it, but the political landscape of Kerala is what I'm interested in, and how it changes. Will they try to make the character of Manju Warrior also corrupted in the third part? Will that be an interesting kind
That's
of...
very repetitive.
That's one of the comments.
Everything will become then very repetitive.
That kind of breaks your storytelling, right? That all the characters have zero characteristics or an ideal or a principle in life, that something goes wrong and they just turn evil. They just switch their ideology and everything. And just is Lucifer, who's consistent throughout. So it kind of becomes
and
like,
we have to see Lucifer get beaten at some point. Like, where is that low moment? That is what I'm actually expecting. That's why I said that we have a formidable villain. So we probably get to see that in the third film. But I actually do like Nona's point that would have been also amazing if, like, this movie ended with him being at a complete low. Losing. That would have also been a very good cliffhanger.
And that would have actually worked, against the expectation. We know everything will be right by Lucifer. He'll, get everything right by the end. But he doesn't. Manjuwari doesn't come out of the jail, That goes wrong. Something else goes wrong. Now Tovino also, like, everything is gone,
Manjuwari does come out of jail, no?
Yeah, they show her. I'm saying if she didn't have, because you're expecting she'll come out. Lucifer has done it, it worked. His plan worked.
Understood, yeah.
So everything goes wrong, That would have been very interesting ending. Just want to say thank you, Shelly, for the memberships, and thank you, Nikhil, for the super chat. And guys, hit that like button. Vishnu is doing a separate competition between me and Chechi, who got more viewers. But talking about Rick Yoon,
this for the first time.
Did you know Rick Yoon? I honestly have no idea who the actor is. So.
I knew. That's why I was like, oh my god, okay, they cast him. I knew him. So,
yeah.
Farhad, did you know Rick?
The Game of Thrones guy?
No. The Chinese guy. The head of China.
So he is an American actor.
Oh, yeah.
So
I knew the other guy.
Game of Thrones guy.
His name was
Game of Thrones guy.
Game of Thrones guy, yeah.
Did you expect him to die? I'm like, they didn't have the budget. they couldn't pay him more. Just
pointless characters anyway.
That's true. So I definitely want us to address how this movie so quickly broiled into
Before we go ahead, do you reckon, as a theory for the third part, Do you reckon the character Prithviraj goes rogue after a point?
No.
Oh, as far as Lucifer is concerned?
No.
Or will
No,
he
he's
remain?
too loyal to Lucifer.
Like
I
that-
don't see a
he's the
point when he
only
got his
figure in
revenge
his
also.
life. Like how nothing in his life can make him go against him, except that Lucifer becomes the villain and he has to take him down. That can
Yeah.
happen. That Lucifer has to be taken down.
Like save Zaid or save your Nexus, like that.
And second part of the question is, do you think Godfather 2 will be made? The Telugu one.
Oh, I don't know. If they make it, then definitely not include the first
Oh.
30 minutes of the film.
which this film already has removed.
Yeah,
I will talk about one more thing.
please do.
That ending. The master stroke for me was the younger version of Mohanlal. I have said it so many times. Him with that beard, he looks like his father, and that's the best casting decision this film has made.
Yes, that's
Pranav
true.
Mohanlal as a younger version of Lucifer and Stephen. Love it.
Do you think he'll be able to bring that aggression? Because, I mean,
I think
I
it
feel
doesn't need
like-
to.
I feel it
play
looks too
it
true.
naturally. Don't try to ape him, Mohanlal.
Yeah.
Just do because
Yeah.
it's like his younger version. He has
I
evolved
find
to
him,
be.
like, too sweet. Like from his face, like I don't get the menacing feeling. Though that shot was quite, good. The way
Have you guys-
we see him go all monstrous.
Have you guys seen Dark series?
Yes.
Remember
my
the
God,
casting in that show?
Yes, kind of now.
How well they casted every every kind of
Oh
person.
yes.
So it's
I
just
agree.
like that. Like, you know how the spoiler for Dark now.
I've forgotten also. Like it's been so
Out
long.
of context,
the
nobody
old
remembers.
bald guy, the main villain of the
Yeah.
show,
Yes.
and
yes.
he's the middle younger version.
I thought they were related.
Yeah, but how he got the scar and he became that, right?
Correct.
You know, the moment he
correct.
gets the scar and how he starts to act slowly like the older guy.
Right.
That was so that what reminded me. Like, I want that. I want Pranav
I
Mohanlal
think
to grow up.
the dark overall casting was, anyways,
that was
just
superb.
amazing. Yeah.
We have a super
So-
chat from Dinesh Kumar saying 3 intellects discussing a failed movie content. Thank you, super chat. Thank you, Rishikesh, for becoming a member. So should we take some questions before we get into the?
Yes, please, let's do. I'm also seeing it from
By
my
the way, who is Rick Yoon talking to tell him the story of Lucifer? I want to know everything about him. I thought
I
they'll
want
give a
to-
reveal and it's actually Fahad, but they didn't show that character.
Okay, there's a lot of chat in
क्या
my.
ignore इतना
I'm just
ignore
seeing it in my chat. No,
ignore कर दिया
I'm-
मेरे सवाल को.
I don't know if it's a big reveal or not. Like,
But it's
find
good
out
that
who
they
it
didn't
is.
reveal, like they didn't show who it is.
I don't want too many reveals. I think Pranav was good enough.
Yeah, I think if it was Fahad, like it would have taken all the limelight. So it's better
Right, that
not
would have
to.
been the whole point of like discussion.
Yeah, not even the controversy. But Chad, what do you think? Who is that guy working for Rick Yoon in the Chinese triad who's telling the story of Lucifer to him?
Somebody wrote in the
I was
chat
actually
like
thinking,
a-
like, why would a Malayali guy or a Indian guy heading the Chinese triad? It had to be like a Chinese actor, from Chinese origin actor.
by Chinese origin. This comment is like
Cicada.
Laika knew this was coming. They smelled the controversy. Somebody wrote in the comment.
I saw it 2 times. I don't feel like him. Eh? It's not Pranav. Oh, it's Pranav. Of course, it's Pranav.
I thought it totally looked like Pranav.
I was like, it better be Pranav. I was like, it better be Pranav. And
No,
then
it
show
has
the
the
close up
credits.
and it looked like Pranav, right?
The credits were there. IMDb credits were there. I went and checked.
Okay.
So it's
You did
Pranav.
not. I thought my then eyes would be deceiving me completely.
If that is Pranav, then it's Stephen younger version means Stephen is 63 now. No, that doesn't mean anything. Stephen is of the same age as Banju Warrior's character. In the real life, it's that they are, father and son. That doesn't mean the movie also, if he plays, it's the same age difference.
This is funny.
Stephen is 46.
No one dares to talk about the opinion.
But he's playing the younger version of himself. Nah, it's not a father and son. Nah. Where is the question coming from?
They say
What
it's
is the question?
1981. They showed
the
Pranav
year.
in 1981 in Bombay, which means 19 and 20 years. Almost 40 years.
I mean, that would be accurate, wouldn't it? Because 2002, that we are headed to in a while, had Prithviraj as a kid.
Yeah.
Right? And you saw him being rescued at a point by a not so young Mohanlal. So 1981 is reasonable that way, I feel.
Actually, Keshav hadn't seen Lucifer, so I told him actually it's a good idea to watch EMPURAAN without watching Lucifer. And what is your thoughts without having seen Lucifer? How does it work as standalone or not? I don't know if he's following it
He
or
won't
not.
like it at all.
He's watching it tonight. I spoke to him now. So because I was like, can you join? So he's like, I'm watching it tonight.
So they say timeline doesn't add up. According to Lucifer's timeline description, Stephen should be 6 years old in 1981. So maybe they didn't think about
Maybe they are revealing
We'll have to ignore the error. We'll see how he presents it. Let's see.
Did you get KGF intro fight vibe in that last Pranav scene with placement of the bike and all? It went very quick to even. I was just thinking, are they gonna show anything or not? Are they gonna show his face or not? Then they showed, and I'm like, happy.
From the silhouette, I was thinking, okay, because he has those a little bit of curly hair, na? Like I was thinking back at Hridayam, like this should be Pranav. Then they show the
If it
close-up.
was not Prithviraj, you better get Pranav for that role. That's the most best thing you could do, and the most best incorporation of getting them together in a one film, like not playing against each other, but at least together in a film, which works the best.
Correct.
Will Mohanlal dub for Pranav? Okay, that Vada at the end was more. Guys, like in Shangala Shesham, the drunk Pranav performance, it literally, if you close your eyes, looks like Mohanlal, feels like Mohanlal is speaking. So I don't know, but I'm not understand Malayalam, so I'm not the right person to say.
No, but the body language and the way he was saying those dialogues, it did, and I think it was addressed when I had reacted to the trailer. Like everybody was agreeing to that fact that yes, he does have that same body language as Mohanlal in the drunk scene.
Yeah, guys, this ear thing, I don't know. Like, let them see in L3. Let's not get into too much of that. L3 is gonna be Azrael. At the end, did you guys notice the song? Instead of EMPURAAN, it became Azrael.
Oh no,
During the credits.
I don't remember. I was actually too busy reading those.
It was going too fast.
Yeah, I was too busy. Like I was like trying to catch as much as I can while reading those news clips. Because he was like, okay, please. Like when I saw Prithviraj's interview, he said, please, that's the setup for the third film. So I was concentrating on that. But I did not notice, actually. I don't remember it.
Guys, please speak up the technical aspects. I really like the intro sequence, like visually, like the way it was done. The whole train burning sequence. With that music, that first it's a little girl saying EMPURAAN, and then it's a man's voice, hard voice saying that. That looked really, really, really. Not what was happening, but the way it looked was really done well.
The opening credits, basically.
Yeah.
I think that is one of the. I think that is what kind of led to the big controversy talk that, okay, you showed that as animation, kind of brushed that so quickly, did not actually show the impact and the pain that people who were, in that train. And then the writing part you have showed properly. So why not? So I think that was the first trigger point in the controversy, that how dare you show this and not that.
There was one more question about why they didn't show who burned the train, like that, because it's not factually, it's not out there. Like the still case is going on. That's what I've like read. That still the case is going on. Still, it's like that's what the whole point of the Sabarmati report movie was. That the what is hidden from, or whatever, the way they market the film.
Yeah, I
So
think
don't
they
know.
showed
They did
fire
kind
glass
of,
being thrown.
yeah. And they, at the end when the train is burning, they're like some, what do you call mashal? They are like
Yeah.
that, like visually they are clearly there. Like it's not shown as accident. So
Yeah, no, it's not shown as accident, because I saw that, okay, no, this is clearly someone burning the train that has been shown. And then the consequence of that, because that becomes Zaid's whole subplot, basically, the whole revenge saga. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gotten the ending fight.
yeah. So they could have directly like started the movie with the scene of his backstory, right? At least you can say the other side of the discussion can be that at least they showed that in the title sequence, that what led to it.
Why do you think that, like when you said that it could have been shown, do you think that they could have just avoided it altogether? Because Farhad, like we were discussing when the day we watched the film, is that was a very gutsy move on their part, because not everybody's going to show it, right? From the train burning incident to the writing, and then then Zayed's story, basically how it comes about. So, and now because of that whole thing, they are doing, I think 17 cuts is what they have said from that 30 minutes
from tomorrow,
and muted words and lines, and
yeah. So there are changes. So do you think that if that was not shown, this whole thing would have not happened at all? It's only because of the 2002 riots, because it was depicted, though it's not said explicitly anything, but we all know which year it is, what happened, and everybody knows it. So it's a very, it could be triggering for a lot of people, right? So do you think that, one, it was gutsy, or do you think that it was like could have been avoided altogether? You could have done Zaid's story without that, or the impact would have been less.
Me?
Yeah, Parad, what do you think?
So I feel, there are two things to it. If this was not a pan-India film, nothing would have, come out, and nobody would have even known, something of this has even existed. We've seen in films like Pada or Nat 2, all those are political movies as well, coming from the Malayalam film industry.
Kuruti was such a political film.
Kuruti. Yeah. Kuruti also, yes. That was the entire theme was that.
Exactly.
The Hindu-Muslim theme that we are talking about, that was completely that, although not reference to any incident, but it was completely in that theme, in that zone. That also at Prithviraj. But, because they attempted a pan-India film, all this, was noticed rather. In fact, they even got a certificate from the state. The CBFC certificate is also state driven. It's not only central driven, and they have representatives of the state as well. So that's how the film got passed, and that's how films are made, from Malayalam, Telugu, Tamil. They don't go to the central board, which is the Hindi board for Hindi films. So, even if they have shown it, I have to really watch what I say. 1 second.
Yes, please.
Doesn't that say it every? Say it all?
It says everything.
Yeah, it proves the point, right? Doesn't it prove a big point? It does, right?
It's a very big point, because the other side of the argument is that films like some of the other films, let's put it ambiguously, some of the other films that portray the other side are not censored as well. And there's a film like Santosh, which is completely banned in India.
Yeah.
Right? And that has certain themes that's not even a reference from a real life incident, and still it is banned.
Right.
So it says a lot. And if you're this picky with art, then
it's not things are just going to go downhill from there.
Yeah, it is.
Right. But do you think, Nona, this is going to happen now more often? I see a trend now. I feel I see a trend.
Isn't it already happening? Like, I think we have crossed that line already.
We've crossed that
way
line.
back. With everything, not just movies, with everything outside also that's happening.
Yeah.
I think we had already like crossed that line, and I'm just, I said my review. It's like for someone if you have a different ideology, the film is showing truth. If you have a different ideology, film is a propaganda. But the moment you start to, like ban things and cut down that what you don't like that will not be shown, then the other day if the film you think is right and even that will be taken down. Are you happy?
Right.
It cannot be hypocritical
that won't be taken down.
What your ideology is right and that can be shown, but what other ideology you don't believe in, that has to be taken down. It doesn't work like that.
No, but the thing is, Nona, that won't be taken down. No? That is the issue.
That's what I'm saying. No? It's, if you are okay with, I don't want to take names, but
the other side is not okay. That is the problem.
See, I personally, I don't agree with the pan-India statement that because it's a pan-India film, it received this criticism. I think more than outside of remaining part of the country, I didn't see any issues, like big issues coming out. It's mostly within Kerala where more issues are happening. I think if outside people would have made noise, nothing would have happened, because in Kerala itself, like the whole right wing has taken offense and they are attacking, and Mohanlal is put on like the target. Then the apology has come in, I think, and it's very, I've seen a lot of people saying how why didn't take a stand and this and that. Like, it's easy for us to sit at home and say why they didn't take a stand. They are running a business, they have to take care of things, they have relationships to maintain. If it's so easy, then you take a stand for the film. Are you willing to take a stand for the film? Just writing on internet and
yeah, the other side of the thing also is the OTT deal. Because this was showcased, the OTT deal could have gone off. That is a reality.
True.
And it's such an expensive film that in fact, it was relying on a pan-India success for it to actually be profitable everywhere.
Right.
Other than the fact that it's 200 crore gross, which doesn't say much. It's a 150 crore film, which means that it has to break even at 250 crore net. Not gross.
Right.
So that is not happening. I don't see that happening only from the state of Kerala, and Hindi is wrapped up under 2 crores. And on top of that, now you're dependent all of a sudden on the OTT deal, right? The OTT deal would probably be on the lines of 150 crores after the theatrical run. But the moment this controversy is quoted, none of the OTT platforms or the ones that they are in talks with would actually want the film to release on their platform because of that whatever environment that we are in. And so there is still a lot at stake for the film. I mean, you have to also understand from the producer's point of view that it's an expensive film. And because the theatrical run is slightly under par as far as Pan India is concerned, the OTT deal becomes important for them to recover the money from that.
Right. So, and I think that's why they quickly said that, okay, fine, we are going to just do these cuts and re-release because they also do not want to get into that kind of controversy where this is the only thing which is driving the film's narrative, that, it's there is this 130, the first 30 minutes, and rest of the
not
things are just
first 30 minutes, right? It's like
first 10, 15, I would say the whole thing, like the whole opening act, basically.
Yeah.
The whole opening act, which becomes Zaid's story.
No,
you're right that a lot is riding on like the profitability. That's true.
No, now outside Kerala also studying controversy. See, people want distraction. Everyone will talk about. The moment
I have seen the big YouTubers also pick up this because it started to come on my feed now. That
it's content मिल गया ना.
हाँ, वो तो है. That's true. That is true.
Now guys,
no one is offended. No one is offended except some extremists in BJP Kerala wing.
See that hitting each other, saying you is gonna keep happening. But the question about should they have avoided this and that, like I think that's above my pay grade. That I'm I cannot decide like what they should do, and that's their story to tell. If they think it works in their story and they want to be bold enough to I literally found out that the name of the villain is actually the same name as the culprit who actually went to jail. So, they went
Yes.
to the
yes.
actually the moment in the film when they talked about NIA coming out, I'm like, did they really use the right? Like they usually change it, right? They didn't say raw, they did not say this, they changed the words. I mean, they said NIA, they really, the Home Minister, like they're literally directly taking those shots. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, I was surprised that it took so long for the all the controversy to happen. I'm like, this should have happened before the release. Ideally, like ideally as in some people's way, that should have actually happened before. How could it happen so late? So I think I'm surprised that it took so long. Even the
And
offenders
also
are
the fact
getting
that because
delayed.
Delayed. No, I think we assumed. I read this comment and now I remember, because Prithviraj never revealed the actual budget of the film. He said that whatever budget you think is the film, that is the film. So though, like you put up a figure of 150 CR, I do think it's made in 100 crores at least. What are your assumptions, Nuna? How do you?
It's not one. It's less than 150. In one interview, Anupama said 150 and said no, it's not 150. It's less than that. So it's less than 150.
Did he say less, or did he say I'm not saying anything? I don't remember.
So
I
it
also
cannot be
reacted
more
to
than that. Yeah, because the first film made that much. They're not gonna spend that much only on the second film. Like so.
I feel 100. I feel at least 90 to 100 CR probably is the making.
because they have all gone to foreign locations and shot it there, like in Senegal and Turkey
See,
and where not.
budget also
So-
includes, not just the production, it's also the post and the marketing and everything they are doing.
Yeah.
The costing,
Extensive
distribution,
marketing
like
they had.
so. Considering everything,
And they
yeah,
had
it
a
could have
trailer
gone.
launch in Bombay.
Yeah, so all that you have to pay, like so many people. So like, see, inside budget, I don't know what it'd be, but I just hope if we get an announcement for L3, I think we are good to feel that. Again, I think it's a good thing the budget is not out. That it should not matter to us.
Correct.
It didn't,
Yeah, it
like we
shouldn't.
should talk about the film, not about the budget and did they make the money? Like that's not our concern, guys.
Right. We did not really discuss the core technicalities
Yeah, a
of the
lot of
film. We
questions
talked
about
about the making. I like the best thing I found, cinematography was phenomenal. I loved it. The way the whole film is shot, like the color composites, because they have kind of separated the worlds also really well that way when it came to color grading. I had a problem with BGM though. Somewhere like I know that we equate mass with loud BGM, but here I felt that in some portion it just goes overtly loud, which all the Marcy films have started suffering from this thing, and I don't know if it's going to continue. I think it's going to continue because Mass was loud BGM. I think I'm over it. I personally think I'm over it. Though other than that, I felt where the BGMs were more subdued and serious, I felt more intensity in those parts. So I think BGM have mixed opinion. But other than that, edit also I did not mind, because it's a difficult film to edit with so many narratives going on. So I think I really appreciate the edit and the cinematography that way. BGM somewhere in between for me.
See, I feel the film's accomplishment is that with all its flaws, it's still watchable and you understand what's going on. That is the biggest victory of the narrative. When you have so much to deal with, so many things happening, that just it's just a miracle. For every film, if it's watchable, if it makes sense, it's a miracle because how chaotic the process is, and that too for a big film like this, it multifold. So I think that itself works. But as I think Farhad had said in the beginning, right? That what he said that. What's the line?
Farhad, do you remember what you said? Because
I need to know the context of what I said, no?
No, your overall thought
About
of
what?
I totally went blind suddenly.
When you see it from a Marcy lens, that's what he said.
Yeah,
no?
from Marcy lens. So I was saying that from the editing perspective, it wasn't a reel-induced kind of a film. Like Pushpa was a one reel from another to another to another to another. Entertaining, but from one reel to another, not connected by any transition shots or anything of that sort. Here there were, the connecting shots were there. I had mentioned in my review that there was this inverted cross that was there in the ground, cut cut to the next scene was, cross hanging from the car, the
Right.
rear view mirror of the car. So these transition shots were there, and that, made the film coherent in a way. It wasn't real induced in any sort, from a editing perspective is what I was saying. I agree with your point as well. BGM, imagine a Jakes Bijoy BGM in this film. It would have taken it to another level, I feel. Or even a Sushin Shams, for example. So that wasn't the case, but I mean, the BGM still, I wasn't too disappointed with it. It still worked for me in mass. It didn't take it to the hilt as I would have expected, but it still wasn't very on the floor as well. It was still above a mid grade, so to say. Cinematography was really good, I felt, and you were spot on when you said, Ashnuka, that the color grading, I think they took care of that to separate out the color grading of the cartel of the state.
Yeah.
Also, the camera traveled, to other locations that made it a grand kind of a scale, of the film, contributed to that scale of a film that we usually reckon with. Normally, when some of the mass masala entertainers are guilty of, they say that, oh, this is made at an X budget, but we don't see that necessarily. It doesn't translate that on screen that, oh, where has the money gone, some of that. So in this case, you see where the money has gone. You see that the style is there. You see that, there is thought given on, the lenses and the wide shots in the, the movement, a slight blurry kind of an interval, not interval, slight blurry kind of an introduction to that character of Lucifer, at the start, almost giving him a mysterious, there's thought, in the frames that are there.
Yeah.
So the technical aspects of the film are really good, really, really solid. And that's pretty much a contributing factor also to the film, gaining those numbers, because this is meant for the big screen. That same impact is not going to, translate on your monitors or your phones. It's not
That's
going
true. That's true.
People are saying
you didn't like the action editing, na? Nona? I saw your review.
Yeah, like there were moments, especially in the climax, like there were, you could say, since it's a single take, but they have zoomed in, zoomed out, zoomed in, zoomed out. There's so much they're trying to overdo it that it just loses its, charm. Like I'm getting distracted. It's too much going on. But yeah, overall the design was good.
The Moto Cam.
The structure. No, Moko Cam is still, like, you could tell, oh, this is Moko Cam. I think that was in one of the initial action scene. But the one particularly in the climax, there was a one, they kind of took a kind of round Avengers kind of thing. Where they're fighting, and then they just, every time they come out and then they zoom on Mohanlal, then they zoom on Prithviraj, then they zoom on, I could tell it's a saying shot, but like that would have been more cooler than just zooming in. So it just felt it.
Wait till you watch Sikandar.
Oh, I'm not, so I don't need to.
No, Mona's not watching it. I'm going tomorrow, so okay.
No, I really, have of my mental health very particular, so I care about it.
Spoiler discussion, you and me. Let's do it.
Is there spoiler? The film got leaked a day before the release. I did see a few scenes on Twitter. I'm like, oh, from the trailer I was right, but this is confirmed. No, not for me.
Acha.
Some people are saying it's a crap film and all. I am against censorship and goes against freedom of speech and democracy. However, I support certification and age limits. But I'm against the idea of 4 people deciding what others should watch. There's actually never the case, but now it has become.
Yeah. That was actually never the case, but now, again, imagine if the broadcasting bill gets passed.
Oh, I think they have already passed the privacy bill, where if you supposedly the argument is that if you do that, expose a big corporation or something, they'll put you in jail because you invaded their privacy. So the people who used to be
I need to read about that.
People who used to be, what do you call them, whistleblowers? They are criminals now.
1 second. Does that also include production houses?
I guess so.
Yeah, it's a corporate, right?
Then
I need
film
to read
reviews
about
also come
that.
under
Oh my
that.
god,
Then.
that's big. I didn't know
I think
that this.
one Telugu film is coming out, and the producer said, whoever trolls this film and this and that, they'll get the
Ah.
wrath of God. I'm like, okay, I'll not watch it then.
Akshay Kumar.
Has anyone watched Veera Dhira Suran, the Tamil film?
No, it's not released near me. I'm hearing good
Same
stuff
here.
about it. Again, it's
Not
a very
released.
different. They're
I
doing part 2 first, and then part 1 will come out. Something what Jana
Yeah.
Gana Mana was
Same
doing.
director Chitta, by the way. Same director Chitta.
Yeah.
Correct. I like the trailer. I watched the trailer, but it's not released near me, so I cannot watch the film. Though I've heard it's quite good. So anyway, what else do we discuss? Do we have any more points to discuss, or do we take some questions?
There's
From
talk
the chat.
about the Illuminati and Rothschild will be connected to Shine Pride in L3 because I'm going to discover is a hint about Rothschild. What is Rothschild?
Where? Who? Someone said the night jungle fight was that's I say
Yeah,
this in
that
my
was-
review.
yeah.
That's where the movie peaks completely for me.
Yeah.
It was so well shot also, like the lighting, that yellow, this thing with the forest, and then in the end when the branch falls it becomes an L. The whole thing was just beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Rothschild family search Google. I'm like there'll be some other group in this, whole Illuminati and all talk. But yeah, that for me, even that film has not established that really well. Where, like, you need to have, if you're seeing this man kind of, is this and that, and then if there's an organization where there are more players like him, then you need to maintain that in the narrative, right? Like in this word, he's not the god kind of.
Yeah.
He's God maybe in Kerala or India, he has connections, but you cannot say everything in the world he can do and get away with. So,
Yeah.
and I was like,
That's
why,
too much.
if you wanted to take revenge, like what
You
made
can't
you
do that
wait?
in trilogy.
Yeah, but I'm
That's
saying
too much to
this
cover.
movie's villain, like if Prithvi wanted revenge, like what took you so long to get him and take revenge? Like what, like finally because he came to Kerala, now you got a chance, now you want to attack him, like if
There's
you
this
really-
one dialogue that Mohanlal says that the time has come. He says it to Prithvi, ki abhi samay aa gaya, the time has come. And I told you before that this will mean more than just a mere revenge. Like your revenge will mean more. Something like that he says. I don't know. Like I think that's how they justify it in the film, which I thought was also like, okay, convenient writing maybe. Because knowing Abraham Qureshi, he could have found that person at any point of time for Zaid. Right? And so, yeah. Anyway, convenient writing there, I feel.
they're waiting for villain to do something. I guess Mohanlal disappointed after watching Empuram. This is not my Qureshi Abraham. I think that is one of the thing, right? Like a lot of people had expectations which didn't match, and that's what happened with sequels.
Yes. I feel now a lot of people are pinning hopes on his next film, Thudaram.
Oh,
That looks good. That looks so good. I am really looking forward
It's
to that
from the
actually.
maker of Saudi Veleka and Operation Java. And Saudi Veleka I loved so much, and I cannot wait
I love
to
both the
experience that.
films. I loved Operation Java also a lot. Like I loved how the film was.
I love both films.
Yeah, same. Loved both films.
I think that's coming out in May, but I think before that there are a host of other films like Bazooka and
Retro is coming on first May.
Allah. Yeah. Sorry, which is on first May?
Retro. The Surya's
Retro is
film.
on first. Surya's film. Okay. First May
Bazooka
I think
is on
has
10th
three
April.
also.
Bazooka is
Bazooka
on
is 10th April. That's
10th
the Vishu
April.
release. Even that other.
Boxing movie, right? Gymkhana.
Alapura.
What
Alapura
Gymkhana was
Gymkhana.
that?
Alapura Gymkhana.
Uh-oh. Disconnected?
Yeah.
Talk about Sikandar. I have not seen, guys. Sorry. Hey,
Yeah,
Thudaram
I
is
know.
16 plus. Interesting.
Yeah, a lot of in my chat also a couple of people talk about Sikandar. I have not watched it. I'm going tomorrow for that film. So amongst three, only Farhad has watched it. Farhad has watched the masterpiece. I'll watch it tomorrow. And Nona, I don't think you are gonna watch it, right?
No. I'll
Oh,
watch
man.
Pawn Man. I haven't seen
Pond
it yet.
Man. Oh, please watch it. Very nice movie.
So wonderful.
And
Yeah.
tomorrow
Wonderful.
is April 1st, Chechi. Do you want to announce anything?
You announce. You do the
No,
big
no,
announcement.
no, 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 no,
No. You only do the big announcement.
no.
No.
You're watching
no.
Sikandar tomorrow. That's the big announcement.
No. That too I'm watching in the morning.
Oh, so
In
it's
the
an April
evening
Fool
now.
morning for you.
So me and Nona, we have been trying to watch this one film, and it's
Oh.
only because of Nona that we are not able to watch it. Kunya Ramayana.
Whoa. Oh my God. It took me a second to understand what you will say.
So you asked me to do the announcement, so I'm gonna do it. So we're finally gonna watch Kundi Ramayana, okay? Which Nona has been. I've been forcing Nona, like, let's watch it, but he's so busy. He has like, how many? 5 channels to run now?
No, this.
4.
Five. Really?
4. 4, I think.
Oh,
Right.
Three?
Three.
3 channels. So he's a busy man. So we're gonna watch that film tomorrow, guys.
Tomorrow, guys.
night.
Tomorrow. Just be aware tomorrow. Not day
Tomorrow.
after, not yesterday, tomorrow.
Yeah, why would it be yesterday?
live streaming. How are you planning to do it?
Yeah, like.
So we do a lot of movie watch-alongs where
It's a watch along.
it's like a watch-along. Yeah, we cannot because put the film on screen, so we do a live watch-along.
Copyright.
Yeah.
All right. So, anything else in the chat?
Tomorrow my birthday month is there, guys.
Hey,
little bit information.
happy birthday.
Yes, not yet, but
Uh,
Bazooka. It's
Do
day
you guys
after
think
Bazooka.
the hype backfired? Like the whole cameos and who will be there in the film and this actor, that actor, and do you think all that kind of made people more disappointed?
Yeah. The marketing run of the film, they went overpower with that. So when you generally do that, your expectations are increased at the time
Yeah.
of going into the film, and if it's not met, it's a bad film.
Yeah.
So I think that's what has happened
And
here.
they also like made that poster who's from the behind, the guy with the
Character
dragon,
posters.
like who's
Right,
that?
right.
Like they also kind of walked in with that.
They hyped it up.
Yeah, it was clearly like expectation versus reality, them not matching. And I mean, this is the generic like marketing run for such big films is like this only. Like if you take any mass, like the films which are promoted as pan India mass entertainers, you will see like the marketing run is extremely hyped. There are like multiple interviews, you're going to different places, you're doing the press meets, this and that. I mean, that's just become the norm right now. So when the movie, and specifically because this is like, okay, Malayalam pan India release, this and that, because you don't get a lot of pan India releases from this industry. So they went like all out, which is fine. You can go all guns blazing with your marketing promotions because if you have the budget to do so. I mean, but yes, then the downside is that when the audience feels that, we have seen all these promo material and we are very hyped for this film and it doesn't meet your expectation, then obviously there's going to be that, I don't want to say backlash, but yeah, the disappointing critique that we would give or the collective audience would give that way.
I have a question then. So why, according to you, do you think that Malayalam films don't have an Hindi belt penetration? What is it that is lacking? Why? Because the quality is there. But why is it that, even a film like EMPURAAN, I think the best case that was Marco, I think around 12 crores it had collected on net. Which was the best case. It's a huge thing as far as a Malayalam film dubbed in Hindi is concerned, a pan India if you would like to call it, if that name. So what according to you is the missing link?
See, I think
Why is the penetration missing?
the big factor a lot of people miss is that it's not that suddenly Bahubali came and, Bahubali was a separate case because it's a different thing altogether for theaters. But all the other heroes who have made it, now Telugu films have a good kind of run. It's not that because suddenly they're like, then Bollywood was bad, so they saw those films. They have created a big market on satellite, then on YouTube. Those films which are not even good, which we don't even think and talk about, they are, bought by gold mines, and they have now 20, 50, 100, 200 million views on YouTube. People are watching it, they have kind of created a whole market for their films through that. And then then Pushpa with, Allu Arjun decided, I'll take the Hindi, and he went to Patna because he knows that's the place his films are watched in dub. So he went there and he marketed it, and then it just blew up. And then we saw with Pushpa 2 what happened. So it's like a attempt, it's like a cycle, it's a long thing going on, it's a process. It's not suddenly before OTT, how many Malayalam films were even available to watch with subtitles. Now at least we have subtitles, and now at least we're getting dubs on OTT platform, that on Disney Plus Hotstar. So many thrillers of Malayalam thrillers are working because people love watching thrillers. It's just that how will you able to bring that audience to the theater? Like, what are you gonna promise them? If a Drishyam tomorrow with Mohanlal also releases first in Hindi belt also, and if they dub it, I don't think they will, but if they dub it, it will get good money. Because because on OTT people actually saw the Drishyam original 2, and then in theaters Drishyam 2 came, so people like, okay, we have different attachment to that character, so they went and it became blockbuster. Right. So if you really that 100 crore you have to touch, and 50 crore, even 50 crore is a big thing for Malayalam film, so you have to create that, the familiarity with the actors. Like Prithvi Raj has taken that. He's now in Salar. A lot of people know him more better. He was in Ravan, but how many people saw that film? So it's a process. It's a long process. You have to keep working at it. And I think with OTT and availability of content, it also backfires that Malayalam content is so much available on OTT. People think it's an OTT film. Like Avesham kind of actually, they didn't do a Hindi release. I think if they'd done it, that film would have worked. There were so many people without me knowing they are not into exploring cinema. They still watched Avesham. Then they're telling me, dude, you saw that film? It's so amazing. And Fahad has kind of made it. So that film, they had already sold the OTT rights, so they couldn't dub it and then put it out in Hindi market. So that was the issue. But even Manjumal Boys, after OTT, they got so much things. So Malayalam film already are traveling into southern states at least. Manjumal Boys did really well in Tamil. 2018 did really well in Telugu. So it's that first they have to capture that market. At least they release a film, it works in that, and then slowly Hindi also.
Yeah, I think for Tamil and Telugu films, like Nona said, I think the base was created long ago, like the foundation. In Dragon film, they talk about creating a strong foundation. I think that foundation has been created for a very long time, because I remember as a kid, me and my father, we used to watch a lot of Tamil and Telugu Hindi dub on television. So I mean, and I was like, I don't know this actor. Now I recognize, obviously, this was an Allu Arjun film that I used to watch. So they have created that foundation long back, and now because of the OTT and because of social media, it has just exploded, kind of. So Malayalam film is now starting to do it. So it is on that journey, but it'll get there eventually, I feel, if they at least once a year come up with like these big budget films, because that's what gets the eyeballs now. Like when you talk about Marco, the main factor was the shock value that the violence gave, okay? Because that's how they promoted it. That's how the whole marketing was. It's the most violent film. And to the point that it kind of got compared with Animal. Like, okay, people were like, in the Hindi belt specifically, that Animal action is nothing, because that was the peak violence for them. And then Marco came, and then so it brought about that discussion. So I feel that Malayalam cinema is on its way now. So if they because they produce a varied amount of movies. So I feel there would be at least 2 or 3 movies from that whole lot that they release in the year that has the potential to actually go pan-India. and capture that Hindi audience. So it's on its way. It's now, because Telugu and Tamil I think has a huge base already, because years and years of them showing the Hindi dub in television, and of course a lot of content is available in Hindi on YouTube as well.
So do you then think that the medium is wrong then for a film like EMPURAAN, to go all out for the Hindi belt, in terms of promotions, as opposed to say simply like, selling your rights to a gold mine or something for a better reach and then build it on that with L3?
For L3, I think they'll have to be a little, because what they have done now with
the medium is wrong, no?
Yeah, what they've done now with EMPURAAN, they cannot go with the same strategy in the Hindi belt, specifically because now there are sour grapes because of this whole controversy and debacle. So people will remember that. So now they'll have to kind of pivot their marketing strategy for L3 whenever the announcement comes, because again, it's going to be, I feel, a much bigger film than EMPURAAN in terms of scale. So they need to be very, very smart about how they promote it and kind of find really, really solid distributors who you know that you're going to get assured footfalls.
I think this is a missing link as well, in terms of reach. When you're talking, you see many of the pan-India Telugu films, the major ones at least, like a Bahubali, or even a Devara, for example, they tie it with a Dharma production. So there's an acquired strategy by producers who understand the Hindi market. And they understand how to promote their film. Nowadays, so nothing is working. That's a different case. But by and large, they understand, the promotion strategy rather of a film. So I think that also, instead of, Ashirwad Cinemas, trying their luck, and pushing the case themselves,
No, but they
should have,
tried with this, Laika. They tried getting the Tamil market with Laika.
But Laika is again not a Hindi production.
No,
house.
I'm talking about it for Tamil.
Typically.
I'm talking about for Tamil.
Tamil, yes.
For Tamil, they tried that.
They wanted a Hindi belt, no? Hindi belt penetration is what you're talking about.
See, that is also comes with distribution, right? Like if, for Bahubali, Dharma came on board for Hindi distribution.
Yeah.
So they took us something to a different level. But again, first you have to come up with that, relationships first.
Yeah.
If you already have the backing of diff producers, will they come in? Someone else say, no, that's my connection to get that guy for Hindi. There's so many logistics behind. And see, Lucifer and even L2 and Lucifer, those kind of films will go to Goldmine because they'll get a better deal at OTT platform. Like I'm talking about the Goldmine has the films which we don't even know about. And that has created a palette of these films, for the audiences. So now they understand what is a massive film. Before, you remember we used to say South Indian films, they just fly and, used to find it stupid. Now people like watching all that stuff.
Yeah,
because they've been trained with that.
Yeah, because Rajnikant films that I used to watch when I was in school, all the Hindi dub films were Rajnikant films me and my father used to watch. And we were like, oh, this is like so different. Oh, he's doing like these gravity defying things, which were fun to watch. I think that base was already created. And I think with Malayalam cinema, they cannot emulate what Tamil mass and what Telugu mass is. I think Malayalam mass needs to be something very unique to them, because otherwise it's all the same. I don't know. There's no differentiator. Yeah. For Malayalam cinema, the mass definition has to be something different. And they need to promote it that way so that audience is like, okay, mass can be this also. This is interesting.
I think Drishyam is mass. Drishyam is mass. That's a best example.
Yeah. We'll see how L3, whenever it happens, pans out. I don't think we need to wait another 6 years for that announcement to come in. Let's see.
Do you think everything that has happened, someone was even saying that there's a theory that something behind the scene between the producers and all things are not right after this controversy. So do you think everything that has happened, will it affect L3 or we are getting L3?
I think L3 will be there, will come out. It will come out. I think all differences can be amicably, resolved. So to say, I don't know about Laika though. There was a controversy
that
on
is
Laika
that is done. That is sorted.
So if that is done, then it's great. But But I think I'm hopeful of it. I mean, if it's a trilogy, I think the makers and I think the industry is very aware of that as well, as to the way of working that is, and how important it is for the industry. So I'm pretty hopeful that the trilogy will be complete.
Even I think that will be done. Plus, I feel audience sentiment with L3 it's quite positive. I don't think people are like, oh, boycott, not watching, ban. I don't think that is the sentiment at all. So if everything is sorted out between the producers, I feel that there's nothing then stopping them from making L3 whenever it happens.
Yeah.
If Nona ready to watch L3, it will be launched. April 4th, L3 announcement. Okay.
I want Nona to have a part in L3. I don't know why.
Oh, the guy who dies in the crowd.
He's the syndicate. The one who tells the Chinese syndicate.
Nice.
That'll be so cool, huh, Nona? We need to see you in a slow-mo sequence, huh?
Really?
With Lalita. Nona and Lalita walking together. Well, it can happen. Let's dream big for you, Nona. I'm always very positive.
The one who talked to Dragon. Guys, it was very clear that he was not wearing a turban, so... Murli Gopi's writer is not happy with recensoring. He did not share Mohanlal's post in FB. Prithvi did.
I mean,
see, I don't know, like, I wonder, hopefully they all talked about it and did it, not just, the producers. We are the people who in charge. What we say have to be done without, having a discussion about it. I think Malayalam action movie has... I think Thalumala, ARM, I think kind of... Not ARM. Avisham, actually. Kishkinda Kandam got a lot of, wide appreciation. A lot of people talking about that film.
Yeah.
So, I think there are times Primlu, like, did so well in Telugu. They crossed 100. Like, last year only, Malayalam cinema in a year crossed 300 crore films. We had Goat Live also. So I think that itself is showing you how trends are changing. Today we have within 5 days a Malayalam film doing 200 crores globally. It's on the global charts. Top film on the global charts. So that is telling you the change is happening.
Yeah. True.
Alright guys, let's wrap it up. Any final you can let me know final thoughts. I'll just go to the chat if there's some questions.
Well, my final thoughts is that decent film and waiting for L3 actually. I am. I think this film kind of made me interested for L3 and how it concludes. This is a decent enough mid piece to take the narrative forward. So yeah, that's where I stand.
And my final thoughts are, please subscribe to my channel.
Nice, Cheetah.
Please. What are you guys doing?
Guys, check out Popcorn Reviews. His channel link is in the description.
And it's a double S also. Oops.
Opinion on Krish 4 being directed by Hrithik Roshan.
Excited.
Let it happen. Let it happen, then I'll say anything.
Double-edged sword. I'm very excited to see how it all unfolds.
So I think the last news that came out was that Siddharth Anand has been brought as director and Marflix films are coming together, and then it was discussed that the budget will be 600 crores and then it didn't happen and then he walked out, and then news came that Hrithik is gonna direct it. So I don't know, let's see.
I just feel that
until they start shooting, I'll not believe anything.
I mean, I just feel it's not a cost-saving method, of plugging in a director and an actor and saving on the cost factor of it because of the over budget of the film. So
I think it's more about.
I hope that's not the case.
I think it's more about keeping it in the family. That when you bring someone from outside, they have their own thoughts, like how they want to take it ahead. So maybe it was not just matching what they wanted, what they want believe in.
If that was the case, Siddharth Anand would not have been brought in. the very fact that Siddharth Anand was considered at one point meant, and then he walked off, meant that there are budget constraints to the film. You
No,
can't
that
have
is
a
there.
600
That
crore
is there.
film. So
No, but
I
I'm
think
saying-
the cost saving method was that, probably.
No,
You
it's
get
not
it down
that-
to 200 and then make a film something.
No, I'm
Yeah, but
saying that.
imagine the pressure. Like with that budget, I mean, Hrithik, he's the main actor, and then he has to direct also. Okay, let's see.
What
See,
if
Bollywood
what if
was
he's the
like-
antagonist also in the film?
See, Bollywood was like, South is making so amazing, 1,000 crores, this crore. We'll also make such big budget films. And then all the crashes started happening. And now no one is taking any risk. They cannot make such big films. So I think they wanted Siddharth Anand to make this film because he has proved himself making big films. With Hrithik also. The relationship works. And they brought him, and with this, and the way he wanted to tell the story is like, I want 600 crores, I want this, that. And they're like, okay, we don't want to take it that direction. And Hrithik, you only it's like the final thing. Nothing else has worked, so we have to make this film. So I'll only direct it. Like a final, say that let's just get over with it. That's my thoughts about where was Shakti Kapoor in the film. I don't know, guys.
Good question.
That was a very good question.
Marco.
Is he the guy who is the link between the triad?
Anthony Perumber also in the film, right?
Yeah, he was the bartender, wasn't he?
No. He was the guy in Mumbai who takes Indrajit Sukumaran.
In Lucifer, right?
No, in this film also.
No, in EMPURAAN.
This film
Lucifer,
also.
he was
He
the
in Lucifer,
owner
though.
of that bar, like where Lucifer at the
bar,
climax.
yeah.
But in this movie, he's also like in Bombay, and the Indrajit Sukumaran opens his eyes and he goes to meet him.
Oh.
So my theater made
yeah.
a full noise. Opinions on Marco 2 being cancelled after the controversy. That's
Luna
annoying.
is yours.
Router. His name was Router. Marco, guys, that happened. I was away, so I don't have any opinion.
He got a call also by the way.
Oh, that call. What is the double A in the red in EMPURAAN? Hint to the controversy.
I don't know.
Prithviraj posted a poster without Mohanlal's name or anyone's name and now just read it again. Yeah, guys, now don't read too much into everything now that happens.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Ashmita Chechi acts better than Rashmika. Can act better than Rashmika.
Can act. No comment.
Do you
again.
guys have plans on making
Mona is
short
going to
films?
No comments on. I've never acted, guys. How can you make that comment? She's more.
She's in the next
experienced.
Salman Khan films.
Who, me?
Ashmita. Yeah, or Khan.
As the daughter, right? As Salman's daughter.
Oh my god, shots fired! Do you guys have any plans on making short films? Moving on.
I want to be part of. I want to be an actor on Nona's short film that he will direct.
Okay. I actually told them about my diploma film. I told them I'll show them, but that hasn't happened yet. Emperor supposed to be said, so but squished. What do you think? We talked about it, guys. You can go back in the stream. Where all right, guys. Prithviraj is Illuminati. All right. These wild theories. Let's end it up. We had a good, talk about everything. I think we covered everything in this session. Long session, almost 1.5 hours. If we do one more hour, it will be like third installment of L3.
No. I have to sleep now.
Also, I didn't like the name L3 beginning. I hope that's not a title. I don't know why they said that. At the end, they said no L3 the beginning. I was like, please, that should not be the name.
We'll see.
Alright, guys, that's it. Bye. See ya. Thank you for being
Thanks,
part,
guys, for
and we'll
joining.
see
This
you
was
next
fun.
time.
Bye.